Hello, YouTube world. Hello, everyone out there. My name is Tamar Prager. For those who don't know me, I used to work in healthcare, and for the last while, little while, I've been working in a completely different zone, a zone that really suits me, a zone that I'm able to give freely and with ease to people all over the world, actually. I just had a client in Australia. So, what do I do? Well, I help people let go of the papers in their lives that they no longer need, and most importantly, that they no longer want. And it's always so interesting why people might hold on to something that they don't want and that they don't need. What could possibly be holding them to it, holding on to it, when it doesn't serve them, when they don't actually want it? What's getting in the way? So there are attachment issues there. There are a lot of emotions that can get stirred up with papers and the things, obviously, that the papers represent. So I see my job as reconfiguring people's actual relationship to papers so that they are able to see it for what it is and to let it go when the papers are getting the best of them, when the papers are becoming overwhelming, when the papers are taking away from someone's quality of life. And I think we all know how that can happen. Walking by piles and excess all the time can feel really yucky. It can be draining. It can stir up shame. It can stir up frustration. So anyway, all of that stuff is in play. So my job is to help people let go, to detach. And the objective, of course, is to bring people more light, more lightness in their heart, in their spaces, more freedom, more of a sense of agency, that people, that you are in control of your environment. You're in control of your life. You're in control of how you want to feel. And you are. And you are. So I have a podcast called The Paperweight that you can find anywhere you listen to podcasts. I have a membership, and I have one-on-one sessions. The membership and the one-on-one, that can all be found, all the information, on my website, which is tamarprager.com. TAMARPRAGER.com. So what am I coming on here to tell you about? I'm coming on here to share with you information about a 3-day workshop beginning next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, June 1st, June 2nd, and June 3rd. If you have $30, if you have an hour and a half, and if you have lots of excess papers, you might want to think about coming to one of these. June 1st, the Tuesday, is all about your kids' artwork, your kids' schoolwork. So it's the end of the year, and there's a lot of stuff that has accumulated over this past year, whether they're virtual or whether they're in person or whether they're hybrid. There's just always a lot of stuff. And actually, I would say more so if they're virtual, I would think, because you have to print everything out. And so you have stacks of papers and notebooks and whatever it is, right? Do you need to hold on to it? Well, of course, I would argue that no, you don't need to hold on to all of it. There are some items that might be special, that might stand out, that might be considered essential. And the question becomes, well, how do you discern essential from non-essential? How do you figure out, when you're wading through all of these emotions, what is actually worth keeping? So that's June 1st, 12 to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, $30. I'm going to put the link in on my YouTube page right here. You can sign up for that. The second day, June 2nd, is all about some of my favorite categories of paper: magazines, catalogs, and newspapers. So this is for any adult who's got a lot of that lying around. One of the most common reasons people have things lying around is because we say we're going to get to it. We will eventually get to this. We will read the article. We will read the series of articles. We will hold on to it because we want to send it to somebody, right? Somebody pops into our head and we think, oh, this person's really going to enjoy this, but we never get around to it ever. Why? Not because we're bad people, not because we're lazy, but because it's not a priority, because life is busy and we have lots of other things and lots of other people that we need to tend to. And so these things get pushed off. And the problem is not that we're not getting to it. The problem is that seeing all of those newspapers is a constant reminder of not being enough, of failing to get to it, of failing to reach that thing on your to-do list, which was to read the article and then let it go, or to read the article and then make a copy and then send it. And so it detracts something from us. Excuse me. It takes something from us. So the question is, what can we do about it? Well, I think we can be super honest, super realistic, which is to ask ourselves right now, take the papers, are we actually going to get to this? Not do we want to get to it? We do want to. That's why we're holding on to it. But will we? So we need to shift the frame, shift the lens through which we're seeing all of this stuff. Not, wouldn't it be nice if we could get to this? Not, do we want to? Because the answer is we do. But it's a more realistic, honest assessment of what we can take on our plate. And so if we see a stack of papers, of magazines, of newspapers we haven't gotten to yet, the honest assessment is probably no, we don't have time. There shouldn't be any judgment about it. We just don't. And that's the moment that's magic, when you say, oh, actually, I'm not going to get to this. Let me let go of it. Let me free myself from the burden of needing to get to it. That's what I'm going to be doing on June 2nd. Once again, 12, is it 12:30? No, 12 to 1:30. It's an hour and a half. And the third day, Tuesday, June 3rd, sorry, I'm messing up my days and times here. Thursday, June 3rd, right, because that week is Memorial Day, is cards, books, and photos. Ooh, cards, books, and photos. Guys, who here doesn't have a bazillion holiday cards or birthday cards or thank you cards or love notes or whatever it is, right? We are inundated. These items, books, photos, and cards, are very sentimental and therefore very difficult to look at in an unsentimental way to figure out whether it's best to hold on to it or not. Now, there's no rule that says, you know what, we have to let go of 20% of cards that we have. Of course not, or books, or photos. We can hold on to all of it. The problem is when we're not happy that we're holding on to all of it, when it feels like it's a burden, then the items that were once sentimental and gave us these wonderful feelings, filled our hearts, are now not so much doing that. Their role has shifted and they're actually the cause of negative emotions. Oh, this is so much. Oh, I have to go through this. Oh, it's taking up so much space. Oh, this is another to-do project. And you feel bad about yourself. So when that begins to happen, which I think is for a lot of people, right, you just feel overwhelmed generally by having too much. The original kind of purpose or role that this thing had in your life has changed. And I would say it's worth it to look into, getting back the original intention of this object, which was to fill you with something positive. So my thing is, we should try and think about a breath, breathing in and breathing out. What happens every time we take a breath in and we inhale, we also then exhale right after it. And it's a constant natural cycle. There's balance there. There's taking in and there's letting go. And so that correlates. That's really something that comes to mind for me when I think about things that we have. There's a natural receiving, and I think there should be a natural letting go, a natural giving away, moving things out. So if you think of it like a breath, it's automatic. We don't think about it. We don't think about not breathing out, unless, of course, we're intentionally holding our breath for whatever reason. And so perhaps we can start getting into the mindset of making a letting go, receiving a natural process, an automatic one, so that when something comes in, something else should go out. And what does that do? That simply creates like a balance in your ecosystem. You're not going to be overrun, you're not going to be burdened by having too much. And so this last workshop with books and photos, we all know that we don't need to hold on to, 9 million photos of a picnic outing that we had. And what I think happens is that when we make room for what is truly essential, what are the most special photos, the most magnificent cards, right? We can then appreciate them because they're not buried by everything else. They stand out. Their beauty, their magic is able to come through. So that's kind of my objective, is to help you find those things, those items, those special pieces of gold that you want to live on in your house and in your life, that will give to you, that will fill you up emotionally. And the way to do that is to clear out the other stuff, to move it away and to let it go. Moving it, right, like literally shifting it to another part of the house, doesn't actually solve the problem. You want to let it go. You want to say, you want to acknowledge, this served me, this was wonderful, and I don't need it anymore. It's okay to move to another phase of life. I'm going to hold on to and retain what still serves me, what still fills me up. So that's what this is all about. So once again, you can find me at tamarprager.com, TamarPrager, and I would love to be able to talk to you. You can also book a free chat with me for 20 minutes, a consultation where I can speak with you to see if we would be a good fit. And if the things that you have in mind are things that I can help you with, I would love that. That's all on my website. The Paperweight is the name of my podcast. And a lot of people just like to listen to it while they're cleaning up. It gives them kind of an extra boost of support. You can do this. It also gives you very practical how-to tips, some pro tips. And it also has a very calming effect on a lot of people. They like to listen to it because it sort of sets the tone that helps them, that enables them go through their house and tackle their stuff, to let it go. So I'd love to hear from you. And I would also love to see you in one or any or all of these workshops happening June 1st, June 2nd, and June 3rd, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. I will put the link here for you to sign up. Take care, everyone. Bye.